Bert Oliva's Mastermind Circle.
Hello, and welcome back to another motivational moment. And welcome back to another mastermind session. It's been a while. I've been traveling a lot, going to a lot of different countries and doing events. However, today I have a special program, something I want to talk about that's really important, especially coming into the holidays, where a lot of us spend a lot of money that we shouldn't. And I'm going to give you some tools, some techniques. So if you guys are excited, I need you to raise your hands to let me know you guys are here, you're participating. Raise your hands. Good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started for all the new members, letting them know what we're all about. And for all the old members, just letting you know that you got to stay focused. You got to do your core values and just don't forget the little tools that's created those massive changes in your life. So here we go.
Bert Oliva is an international orator. He speaks around the world about his experiences and teaches humanology, the scientific study of human potential. He has enchanted audiences all over the world, showing them the power of mind over matter.
He's one of the most talented speakers out here, and I highly recommend him to any type of
The more prepared you are, the luckier you'll be.
He is the world-renowned authority on leadership and human behavior.
Mr. Bert Oliva.
Bert Oliva.
He's considered the voice of inspiration and motivation. Today, he'll pass his knowledge on to all of us.
For over 2 decades, Bert Oliva has touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Bert has a dedicated social media following and an impressive online influence few possess, enabling him to communicate with audiences he has touched near and far.
I think he's one of the greatest motivators out there.
The thing I love about Bert is he's on stage and he gives his heart every single time.
He has developed many programs, recorded audio CDs, and written books, all of which to help those ranging from individuals to corporate and Fortune 500 companies. He has dedicated his life to speaking all over the globe and met some of the most influential and powerful people in the world.
Okay, let's go.
He has also coached highly successful business executives and politicians.
Normally seen as impossible.
I believed it and I did it.
An infectious motivator.
So get ready to learn tools that will help you tap into your potential.
Pay attention, this is real stuff.
Get ready to have an experience you won't soon forget. Please help me welcome Bert Oliva.
Welcome back. Let's talk about money habits. We're coming into the holidays, and a lot of people really make big mistakes with their money. So we're going to go ahead and we're doing an exercise. So if you have a pencil or a pen, something to write with, and a piece of paper, and I know if Lisa's watching, she probably has a journal. And what I want you to do is we're going to have like a form at the end, an exercise that we're going to do. And this is an exercise that no one is going to see your results but you, but it will give you an idea of where you are with money. So if you guys are excited, you want to do the exercise, I really recommend it. It's a great exercise. I've used it many of times in our seminars, and we're bringing it here to Mastermind. So you guys are ready? If you're ready, raise your hands. I want to see some hands raised, so that way I know that we're here communicating. We're getting this done. All right, guys, did you notice I look different? just in case, since you're not able to communicate with me, a lot of people were in shock. I have not shaved my beard in about over 15 years, or it's just been a real long time. And I just wanted to do something drastic. And sometimes we need to do those things to create massive changes in our lives. I mean, for the most part, my brand has to do with my beard. I've carried my beard my entire career doing seminars. So people already know me for that. However, I wanted to do something different. So I made a choice to do a shift. And it might last, it might not. But the thing is that something good will come out of it. So that's something for you to think about. Just one of the techniques that I use. Anyways, and just please, you can type and let us know that I look good, and I'll find out at the end of the show. All right, guys, here we go. Let me go forward. Here we go. What are your money habits? And I really want you to think about this. For the most part, a lot of us say, well, I really don't have any, or a lot of times multi-millionaire speakers, they'll come out and say, you need to be in a position in your life where you don't have to worry about when you go on vacation, how you're going to get the money. And then, or when you get on vacation, not worry how you're going to pay the things. And then when you get home from vacation, not worry how you're going to make the money that you spent. And the truth is that I don't care what level of success you're at, you need to be able to manage and have good money habits in order to be successful. So I've heard all these great speakers talk about all these things that I really don't agree with. So I'm going to give you some basic tools, some things that might just kind of wake you up and let you know, man, I need to do a little more of this, a little less of that. So let's get started. Common money errors. These are some of the errors that people do when it regards to money. Spending without a budget. I'm going to go ahead and buy something. Let's say I need to go ahead and buy a bicycle because I want to start getting, healthier, and I want to work out and I want to do all these things. But then I don't have a budget for that bike. And then I fall in love with the bike, the first bike that comes, and it's $500, and you happen to have a credit card that can take more than that. So what do? You buy it. And then you realize that maybe you don't even use the bike. And at the end of the day, was it really worth it? So budget yourself. Make sure that you have a budget and you have an idea. If something is out of your budget, then you need to do something. You need to earn more money to buy what it is you want, or you just haven't earned it yet. So you can't reward yourself with something like that. Does that make sense? Next thing is carrying a balance on your credit cards. This is a no-no. And it's funny though, because my son now is starting to get credit cards. And what we do is we're telling him, look, you're going to run your own credit cards. And we're telling him, look, try to pay off every credit card at the end of the month. If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be spending the entire credit card. Credit cards are really like for emergencies. You shouldn't have to use your credit card and live off a credit card, because then at the end of the day, you're going to end up paying more than what you purchased the item for. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So make sure that you don't carry a balance in your credit cards. And then this is what we're talking about, ignoring interest rates. Something is really important. Look at your credit cards. Next time you get your bills and they come in, look at your credit cards and see where your interest rates there are. Are they at 25%, 30%, 15%, 12%? Because it all depends on how good your credit is, how those interest rates are. So you don't want to go ahead and buy something on a high interest credit card, because that means you're paying 23% on the dollar, versus buying something on a 12% credit card or a 3% credit card, whatever the case is. And now that we're going into the holidays, you'll be surprised how many people will come up to you to give you a credit card, because they know you're going to spend. And a lot of people sign these contracts and they don't realize that, yeah, they'll give you a credit card at 30%. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but they do it, and this is the way they get away with it. So it's immediate gratification. You get to purchase and buy things right now that you normally wouldn't buy because you can't afford it, but then you owe so much more. So this is something for you to be aware of. Remember, awareness is key. The more aware you are, the more successful you're going to be. The other thing is not managing your investments. Some of you have investment 401ks or whatever the case is, depending for what companies you work for, or even if you don't work for companies. I own investments on my own. And what I do is I'm on top of my investments. I want to make sure, not just give all my trust to my investment planner or my financial planner or the person that does my finances. It's a great person and they take good care of me. However, I want to be in the know. It's really important that you review these things. And not only that, it will expand your mind. You start realizing if you want to really, truly be successful as a whole, this is one big part of it. You got to be able to be aware of what's happening with your finances. The other thing is getting emotional about your investments. Some people get so emotional because they find out that 401k dropped 10% or 20%, or this is a bad year to invest with whatever stock you're invested in. Look, when you're investing in investments, even real estate, sometimes it's going to go up and sometimes it's going to go down. Just don't lose faith. Don't just freak out because the numbers have dropped, because sometimes, for the most part, if you hold on, they'll come around. And if you have enough investments, you wouldn't be concerned for that just one that you have. Does that make sense? So don't get too emotional and tied up with your investments. Now, good habits. I want you to respect money. I don't want you to be afraid of money. I want you to understand that money can be earned, not made. A lot of people say, well, I need to make more money. Well, you can't make money. That would be illegal. So what you need to do is realize, what can I do to earn more? And once you have it, respect it. You know, right now for us, when the holiday comes, I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite holidays. And in Christmas, I love to give gifts. I don't really care to receive gifts. You know, and people tell me all the time, well, I don't know what to buy you. You kind of have everything. And the thing is that what I do is when I give gifts, I actually shop around. I look around. I have the person in my mind. I have a list of the people I want to buy gifts for. And then I look for something that's cost effective. Not because sometimes buying the best is not always the best. So respect money. Have respect for money so money can have respect for you. The other thing is spend within your means. If let's say, let me give you an example. I love Harley Davidsons. You know, those are my favorite bikes, and we have several bikes. You know, LJ and myself, we have bikes. We collect bikes. And you know, when I went to buy my bike, my budget was to buy anything between $20,000 and $30,000. So if I went and I found a bike for $7,000, I would have bought it. Why? Because it was within my means. But if I went and bought me a custom bike for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, that was not within my means at that precise time. So what did I do? I bought the bike I wanted and slowly started customizing it. So now it's well worth more than what it was when I purchased it. Same thing with LJ's. But again, you buy within your means. You know, I know what you want, but what do you really need? And that's something to really ask yourself. Do I really need it? And 9 out of 10 times you don't. However, if you really, really want it and you can afford it and it's within your means, then go for it. That's how you reward yourself from all the work that you're doing. The other thing is get clear on your debt. What is it that your debts? What is it? Your debts. Excuse the language difference here. No, I just have Valerie you're cringing every time I say debts. Anyways, get clear on your debts. Making sure that what is it that I owe? Besides the light bill, the mortgage, or rent for others, or property taxes, whatever the case is, make sure you have that clarity. We have an Excel sheet that is reported to me every month to make sure what's paid off, what other vehicles we own outright, what do we have, what properties we own taxes on. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much wealth you have and how much wealth you don't have. At the end of the day, if you start this system, you'll be able to build more wealth because you'll be organized and you'll be able to see things in front of you and you'll have clarity. Remember, clarity is power. So have clarity when it comes to your debt. Increase your emergency fund. Some people don't have an emergency fund. They're like, what is that? Well, I'm going to give you a technique so you can have what I call a splurge account. But an emergency fund is that fund that you have, and I'm not saying fun, I'm saying fund. It's that money that you have saved away for that rainy day. If you lose your job, your career goes south, or you knock on wood, or whatever the case happens, you get into an accident. Now you can't work for 6 months. Could you still have the same lifestyle that you have today without working for 6 months? If you've answered yes, then obviously you have done your finances correctly. But more than 9 out of 10 people will answer no. And that's scary because you never know what can happen. So the goal is, as soon as money starts coming into your life, you start creating that fund, that emergency fund and that splurge account, which we're going to get into right now. A splurge account. This is something I created years ago, and we do it in our seminars. And this is how we start with children, and we help children learn how to invest in themselves. I'll give you an example. I need you to go out there tomorrow, and it's not an example. Actually, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. If you don't have it already, you need to go out there tomorrow and get yourself another bank account, a separate bank account. And this separate bank account is the account that you're going to start putting what's called splurge money. For example, you want to buy a computer. The computer costs $1,000, right? It just came out yesterday. It's the latest and the greatest. It has all the bells and whistles, and there's $1,000 to buy that computer. So what do? You go ahead and you go to the splurge account. But you just open the account. You only have $100 in it. Computer costs $1,000. You have $100. You can't afford it. And the reason you can't afford it is because you haven't earned it. So this is what happens. You'll start working harder. You start doing certain things. You start becoming creative. You start saving money. You start putting money towards your splurge account. Next thing you know, your Splurge account is increasing. Now you have $1,000. And now you're no longer buying an emotional buy. You're going to the same store, you're seeing the computer, but guess what? 3 months went by. The computer's no longer $1,000. The computer's $700. You have $1,000 ready to buy the computer. Then you realize, I really don't need the computer. What I really need is the camera. So at the end of the day, this helps you in several ways. It helps you to hold back and not be an emotional buyer and buy something you really don't need at the moment. Helps you to do your due diligence, do your homework, and it helps you to invest in you. The number one thing you need to invest in is in you. So by having a Splurge account, you will have a better quality of life. When you travel, first thing you do is, do we have it in our Splurge account? That's what we do. How much money can we splurge? Well, we have 5,000, 10,000, whatever the case is, but we have money to splurge. That's not going to hold us back. As soon as we get home, we get back from our travels, we don't have to worry about our overhead. Everything is covered because that's what this system does for you. So you guys enjoying this? If you are, I need your hands raised. I want to make sure you guys are paying attention. Good. Now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put a test on, and I'm going to come off the screen, and the test is a 20 Q&A question test. And then at the end, you'll get the results. So raise your hands if you're ready, because I want to make sure everybody's ready. For the people that are in here today live, get a piece of paper, write down 1 to 20. We're going to go get started, and here we go. And if you have any questions at the end, you can ask me questions.
Get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Then number your piece of paper 1 through 20. You will be asked about a series of money habits. If you currently have a habit, put a check mark next to the number that corresponds to the habit. Be honest. No one will see your answers but you. I don't know where my money goes each month. I spend more than I earn. I don't budget my spending each month. I never check or open my bank and credit card statements. I only pay the minimum on my credit cards each month. I have no or minimal savings. I don't put aside any money each month for long-term savings. I often bounce checks or overdraft my account. I often incur charges from paying my utility bills late, gas, electricity, phone. I don't have sufficient or any insurance on my home, possessions, or car. I often have to juggle money to pay off my bills, utility, and credit cards. I am up to my limit on 1 or more credit cards. I can't afford to pay off my credit cards. I have 1 or more loans, excluding a mortgage. I often borrow money from friends and family at the end of the month. I often buy things I never use. I have clothing in my wardrobe that I've never worn. I have no idea how much I owe. I have a second job to make ends meet. I often worry about money. Now, count the number of check marks on your paper. If your total is 6 or less, well done. You're on the right track. If you're not already saving and making your money work for you, then that's what you should be doing. If your total is 7 to 10, it's definitely time to make some changes. And if you have 11 or more, it's definitely time for you to really take some action to get back in control.
I hope that you were able to go through the test. I hope it was really simple and you got it. If you didn't get it, send Valerie an email and we'll go ahead and send you the, we'll either do a form online or something, and then that way you can do it again. But I highly recommend it. And it's just to keep you accountable, to know what's going on and with you. Because the only person you cannot lie to, and we do all the time, is ourselves. So I want you to make sure that you don't do that anymore. Start being honest with yourself. You want to succeed. You want to be this person that's great because you are greatness. And I've always said that, and I really mean it when I say it. I truly believe everyone has greatness inside of them, but it's up to them to bring it out. I can give you the tools. I can motivate you, but it's up to you to bring it out because you are great. The other thing that Valerie mentioned that I want to bring back up is the Splurge account. One of the things that I tell people all the time with the Splurge account is make sure that you save 10%. Like if you're giving it to a church, like if you're giving it to a nonprofit organization, make sure that you get 10% of whatever money you earn towards your organization, which is your Splurge account. And it's really not that much. If you earn $100, you put $10 towards yourself, but it adds up and you'll see how this system really works. The quote I have for you today is that if you have food in your refrigerator, clothes on your back, a roof over your head, a place to sleep, money in the bank, in your wallet, and spare change in the dish somewhere, you are richer than 75% of this world. So think about it. We want sometimes things, and you know, I gotta talk to you guys about this here. Let me shut this down. We're almost at the end, and I want you guys to see me big screen. And this is something I really want to bring up. I want you guys to understand that be careful what you ask for. People want bigger houses. They want bigger cars. They want more property. I'm one of those. But whenever you want something that's bigger than what you have, make sure that what you have, you're using it to the fullest. Like right now, we have a 5,000 square foot house with an acre lot, and we're tapped out. There's no more space for us. So I have 20 acres in Asheville, but I don't want to go to Asheville right away. So we're looking at buying 20 to 100 acres in Orlando. People will say, well, that's a lot. Yeah, but I know that I'm ready to fill that. I'm ready to do new things. I'm ready to bring events to our home in this location that we want to get. So be careful what you ask for, because when you get bigger homes, bigger cars, toys, the difference between toys, men and boys are the price of their toys. When you start getting into that process, everything comes with a price. So a lot of times, enjoy what you have. Be appreciative. Be grateful. Like that last quote said, 75% of the people in the world are the ones that are not even paying attention that they're richer than most. I travel the world, and you'd be surprised. I just came from Ecuador, and it's a beautiful country, great people. And there's this place like the slums, you know, they're called slumlords or whatever. I don't know. It's just like, you know, they look pretty. The houses look very colorful, but they have metal roofs with no insulation, no running water, no windows, and they're happy. And we take for granted what we have. So if you have a great life, I'm telling you, let me rephrase that. You have a great life. Can it be better? Of course it can. It can always be better. We always have room for improvement. But be grateful for what God has given you and what you have right now currently, the people in your life, the family that you have, especially now we're going into the holidays. In fact, I think I have an interview we're doing an interview next week. Well, I might be doing something special in between that interview, because one thing I really don't want people to fall into is the holiday blues. And you don't have to. That's what Mastermind is here for. We're a family. We're a community. Reach out, whether it's to me, to Charles, to Valerie, to Alexa, or even to the people in the membership. You guys know where they're at. For those of you that are a part of the Facebook group, reach out. You know, I'm thinking about opening up a Glide group again, and just welcome to the family, just to talk and make sure that we stick together for the holidays. It's one of the most difficult times. And, you know, depending on what part of the country you are or what part of the world, because people watch us from all over the world, you know, seasons are difficult. So just remember, Mastermind is not only to give you information, empower you, and get you motivated, it's also being able to connect you with like-minded individuals. We're all the same, going after the same dream and making this world a better place. So I want you to keep that in mind. I don't have any questions that popped up, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I want to thank you all. I'll see you next week. My name is Bert Oliva. Remember to live life, and don't let life live you. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Register online and join us today for all new live interviews and weekly topics only at themastermindcircle.com.